There's a man shoveling outside, and he's making direct eye contact with me. It's weird. You're doing great. You're doing great. All right, guys. Today I am sharing the one piece of wisdom that changed the game for me. Changed everything. My whole life changed when I implemented this one piece of wisdom. So I'm going to share it with you. If you're not in a place in your journey to receive this, then this might be a little bit triggering. So I just want to put that warning out there. It's okay. It's okay if you cannot receive it at this point in your journey. I support you. I honor you. It's all good. Let's get into it. The number one piece of wisdom that changed the game for me was radical responsibility for my life. Stay with me. The number one principle in spirituality has to be acceptance. So I guess you can break this down into two pieces. I had to come to a place in my life where I had radical acceptance for my past, which means recognizing that everything happened the way it happened, and it had to happen that way because it happened that way. Now, that doesn't mean that terrible things didn't happen to me. It doesn't mean that I wasn't victimized in my past. It doesn't mean that people didn't treat me in a terrible way or that I didn't hurt people in my life. No, all of those things are true, and I can hold that those are true, and also it was exactly how it had to be in order for me to be here in my life now. So there's an acceptance around it. This is not a condoning of behavior or saying the things that were done to me were okay or the things that I did were okay. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just an overarching acceptance of what did happen. Because we can only truly move forward in our lives when we stop looking back, when we stop trying to change what already happened, should haves or could haves, because that is behind us. It is no longer reality, it is merely a memory. And therefore, we have to come from a place of complete and utter acceptance for what has been. Just coming at our past with a sense of love. That doesn't mean we don't have to right our wrongs. It doesn't mean we don't have to practice forgiveness for the things that have been done to us or asking for forgiveness to right the wrongs that we've done. No, we still have to do those things. But it just means that we don't carry the shame or the guilt of what has happened, nor do we spend time trying to change what has happened. Because we radically accept that. And then the radical responsibility comes for my life in the present and my life in the future. So radical responsibility sometimes can be controversial because it can be a little triggering for people who find themselves in very difficult situations, which I completely understand. But what radical responsibility has done in my life is it has put me in the driver's seat of my life. If I am radically responsible for my entire surroundings and my future, then that gives me the power, the ability to create the reality that I truly want. Now, that doesn't mean that things don't happen that are out of my control in my life. They do. You know, the world still moves on, people still have a life, so those things still occur. But responsibility says, I have the choice of how I react to this and how this plays into my reality because I am in the driver's seat of my life. And I'm also in the driver's seat of my future. And how I react to this will determine my future and what my reality currently looks like. So it's taking a step back and saying, how do I want to take responsibility in every situation in my life to create the reality that I would like? So these two concepts, this radical acceptance for my life up until this point and then radical responsibility for my current situation and my future situation, ultimately allows me to be in conscious control of how I want my life to look. Now, with that being said, these two concepts are a daily practice for me. So in every situation in my current life, when something arises and I automatically want to be like, I can't believe you did this, or blame somebody or blame a situation, radical responsibility takes me back to square one within myself and say, okay, how have I played a role in this situation and how can I create the reality I want based on this situation? So what it does is it constantly asks me to be in line with my higher self. It's difficult and it's hard, and our human nature is to find fault in other people and other things because our ego wants to keep us safe and secure in our narrative and our reality that we've created. And what this concept kind of does is it disrupts that. So it's difficult and it is a daily practice. It's not something I have down packed. And then, you know, radical acceptance for my past, as much as I have healed, it's not linear. So my past still comes up and those things still arise in me emotionally, and that's okay. But what I choose to do with those is allow them to come, and then I practice the love and acceptance for what has happened and what will happen because of that. It's just the grand scheme, the overarching scheme of my life is acceptance and responsibility. And those two concepts alone have shifted everything in my life. And I want to share them with you in case you're at that point in your journey. You know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if I would have heard these things, I wouldn't have been in a place in my life to receive this information. I would have just clicked off this video, and if you have, that's okay. But if you're hearing this, you haven't. So I'm proud of you for sticking through. Wisdom and knowledge comes to us when we are ready for it, ready to receive it, and that's when we will align with the knowledge. So if this aligns with you and it speaks to your journey, then I am so incredibly grateful, because this way of thinking about things has really shifted and changed my life dramatically, and maybe, you know, it can do the same for you. I promise you guys, I will always be honest and share as much of my journey and any wisdom I learn, anything that has greatly impacted my life on here with you guys, because I love you guys very much and this community means so much to me. So I'm hoping this helped at all. Please talk to me down below in the comments. Do you align with the idea of acceptance and responsibility? I am here and completely open-minded to everybody's way of thinking about this world and what has helped them. So I love you guys very much. I will see you in my next video. I think that's all. Bye!